banks, which were said to be too big to fail, some of us thought the DHBT was too important to be allowed to die. But something, or some things, had to change. So, beginning in 2013, you, Barry and I, plus a couple of others, set about forcing the debate within the then Council of Management of 15 trustees. In 2014, Derek, you led us to the Heritage Lottery Fund with an application for a start-up grant, or in our case a restart grant, to develop a new business model and examine how we could make the Trust more resilient and fit for purpose in the new lottery-funded world of historic building conservation. HLF came up with a grant to help us rebuild the Trust. You oversaw and convened a number of exploratory events, including a memorable workshop day in 2017 at Cromford Mill, at which your skill of arm-twisting people into helping the Trust began to bear fruit. I recall how Ian Webster, who's not here today unfortunately, our brilliant finance trustee, was at that event and volunteered to join us and help. Thank goodness Ian did. His professional advice has been greatly valued. And so began a new phase for the Trust as a charitable body and a limited company with a new board of trustees, reduced in number to 8 at the last count, excluding Derek, who's no longer a trustee, and was Derek as the new dynamic chairman then. You insisted that each trustee should have a specific role and area of responsibility. New skills and expertise were needed to augment the formerly architect-heavy leaning of the board. You did a lot more arm twisting to draw in newcomers with a range of skills to help the Trust. Property management, legal, fundraising, education, publicity, even business management were all skills the board lacked and needed. You came up with a new set of 4 principal roles for the Trust. We could continue to be the developer in the old way, when no one else would take on the building. We could be a partner and combine resources with some other body. Or we could be the catalyst to facilitate others to take the lead. Or we could simply be the lubricator who paves the way and oils the wheels. These were our 4 new roles. You also encouraged the creation of a Trust Academy, which would provide help to listed building owners through a group of professionals willing to give pro bono advice and initial signposting. The Trust's old business model had been a simple one. Using the revolving fund principle, we bought, repaired and sold rescued buildings. And with grant aid coming from the lottery, we had to change and plan to keep rescued buildings, to maintain them, and to let them earn an income for us. As you all know, we have added Wingfield Station to this portfolio, along with Bretby Art Pottery Shop and eventually Hillside Cottage at Windley. But recognition of your achievements, skills and reputation must surely be evidenced by the gifting of Eccles House Farm Complex near Hope to the Trust in 2020 by the Peak Park Trust, along with a substantial endowment. Eccles House Farm had been rescued in 1991 by the Peak Park Trust and converted to a tele-cottage office centre by your long-standing friends and clients, Sir Hugh and Lady Sykes, who ran that trust. This generous gift added a valuable new asset to the Trust's portfolio and income base, for which we are all grateful. At that point, I want to thank you for your leadership and great contribution to the continuing efforts of many people in the conservation of Derbyshire's historic buildings. Thank you, Derek. I'll now hand over to Peter.